My dear friends, take a coin, take a bill, take anything. I mean anything monetary. Put it into the pushkin. Let's do it together, and we will merit all the blessings that God is ready to give us. And for us to be a vessel to receive those blessings, let's learn a little bit of Torah. And particularly, let's put on the talis cotton. Let's put on the tzitzis. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The little boy at the Abschernish, when we cut his hair at the age of 3, we put him on a kippah, we leave him the payas, and we put him on tzitzis, the talit katan, the small little cute little four-cornered garment with the fringes hanging on the corner. We also do it obviously at the bar mitzvah, and we do it in the morning at the services. At Shacharit, we put on the big talit. Where is the origin of this mitzvah? In the parish of this week, in the Torah section, all the way at the end, where the Torah says the following: by Yomer Hashem el Moshe, and God said to Moshe, Leimor, Daber al Bnei Yisrael, speak to the Jewish people and tell them they should make tzitzis, v'asu lahem tzitzis. They should put the fringes, al kanfe vigdeim, how they call it the fringe benefits. They should put on those fringes at the corners of their garment. And as we know, the explanation is that if you have a four-cornered garment, on each corner one must hang up those 8 strings prepared in a special way with certain knots. It's a whole process, but the Torah speaks of it in general terms, telling us we should put the fringes on the corner of the garment. Then the Torah says, we know we're supposed to have 4 threads. One of them should be blue. Blue with what? Tcheles. What is tcheles? As I just said, it's a blue color coming from a certain fish which is called chalazen, that we don't really know what it is. There are those who claim, but in general we don't. And they claim they know what it is, but we, to get the great majority of the Jewish people, we don't wear the tcheles, we have just the white strings. Rashi goes on to explain what is the psil techeles. What is the word techeles? So he says, techeles is to commemorate, to remind us of the bereavement of the Egyptians. It says, Targumo shel shikul tichla, umakosem hase balayla. Because the Egyptians lost their firstborn on the 9th plague, and they were in bereavement, suffered by them. And in Aramaic, the translation of the word shikul, bereavement, is tichla, same word as techeles. Therefore, on tzitzis we put techeles. In addition, says Rashi, this happened at night. At the night before dusk, we have the colors. The sky is bluish, so therefore we put on the tzitzis this blue color. Then Rashi goes on to explain why do we have 8? Because it took 8 days for the Jewish people to finally sing the song, the thank you to God for taking us out of Egypt. So obviously we see over here that this whole mitzvah is connected to the reminding us of coming out of Egypt. Why? Because the purpose of coming out of Egypt is to receive the Torah. And as it says in the same verses regarding the tzitzis, when we will put on this garment, when we look at the tzitzis, this will remind us of all the mitzvahs. Because the word tzitzis has a numerical value together with the 5 knots and the 8 strings, a total of 613, to remind us of 630 mitzvahs. Which is the purpose of coming to Egypt. So we're focusing on a certain event of Egypt. One is what? The bereavement of the Egyptians. But what's interesting over here, why is Rashi first talking about the bereavement of the Egyptians, which is the reason for tcheles, rather than explaining us first the main basis of the mitzvah, the main focus of the mitzvah, which is the 8 strings, the white strings? The answer is because that blue color, according to Kabbalah, represents evil, the bad. Fear, yira, serving God with fear and removing oneself from evil, which is actually corresponding to what Rashi says. The Egyptians, the death of the firstborn, which was the final destruction, systematic destruction of Egyptian society, of Egyptian culture, Egyptian idol worshipping. So the removal, the distancing of the evil. Once we have removed ourselves from evil, says Rashi, now we can bring in the white, the purity, the positivity. But the Rebbe points out something very interesting. These days, we don't have the tcheles. The reason? Because the closer we come to Mashiach, our focus should be on the positivity, on the whiteness, the purity. By being focused and doing positive, the negativity will obviously disappear. So we ask the Eibishter, yes, we're ready for the full positivity, the full whiteness and brightness and purity of the coming of Mashiach.